What if the ocean suddenly rose up? Not just one wave, but an army of waves as tall as buildings, racing across the sea at the speed of a jet. Imagine standing on a peaceful beach. The sky is blue and the waves are calm. Then something strange happens. The sea suddenly pulls back farther than ever before. Fish flop on the sand, boats tilt sideways, and people stare in confusion. Then on the horizon you see it, a massive wall of water rushing toward the land. Not just one wave, but many, one after another. Today we'll explore tsunamis. How do they form? What makes them so powerful? Why do some arrive quietly while others strike like monsters from the deep? But first, a simple question. How can the calm ocean suddenly become so dangerous? What is a tsunami? Every tsunami begins deep under the sea. When something suddenly moves a huge amount of water, this could be an underwater earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or a massive landslide. A tsunami isn't just one big wave, it's a series of waves, sometimes 10 or more, traveling across the ocean. The word tsunami comes from Japanese and means harbor wave. Unlike normal waves created by wind, tsunamis are caused by movements of the earth itself. When the ocean floor suddenly shifts, it pushes the entire water column above it. Tsunami waves can travel incredibly fast, up to 800 kilometers per hour. And the distance between each wave can be hundreds of kilometers. So when you hear the word tsunami, don't think of a single wave. Think of a powerful chain of waves moving across the entire ocean. But what exactly starts them? What happens when the earth shakes, a volcano erupts, or a mountain collapses into the sea? And which type of tsunami is the most dangerous? Every tsunami begins underground. Every tsunami has a secret. The secret is hidden far below the water, deep in the earth. Every time you stand on the beach, remember, beneath the sand, beneath the water, the ground is moving. You can't see it. You can't always feel it. But below your feet, the earth is restless, stretching, pushing, cracking, shifting, and sometimes breaking. How does a tsunami really start? With a sudden jump of the Earth's crust. That's right, the hard shell of our planet is made of huge moving pieces called tectonic plates. These plates move so slowly that we never notice them, until something happens. Imagine two giant puzzle pieces pressing against each other. They push, they grind, they get stuck. All the while, the pressure builds up, like a spring being squeezed tighter and tighter. And then, suddenly, the plates slip. When this happens under the ocean, the entire seafloor can jump up or drop down by several meters, all in a matter of seconds. And that's all it takes. All that water above is suddenly lifted or dropped. It's like shaking the whole ocean. The water has only one choice. It must move. So it sends out energy in every direction. That energy moves through the water and forms waves. These aren't normal waves. These are tsunami waves. At first, out in the deep ocean, you might not notice anything. Ships sailing over the spot might rise just a little bit and then settle back down. The waves are long, almost invisible, and the space between each wave is huge, maybe 100, 500, or even 1,000 kilometers apart. But as these waves move closer to the land, something incredible happens. The ocean gets shallower. The waves slow down, but they grow taller and taller and taller. It all started with the movement of the earth below, but earthquakes aren't the only way tsunamis can start. Want to know what happens when a volcano explodes or when a giant mountain tumbles into the water? Every tsunami has a surprising beginning. Every tsunami is more than just a wave. It's the ocean's way of telling us that something dramatic has happened. Let's discover every way a tsunami can begin. The earthquake tsunami. The most common tsunami type starts with an earthquake. Imagine the ocean floor is like a rug, and someone pulls one side of the rug very quickly. All the water above jumps. That's what happens when tectonic plates underneath the ocean suddenly slip. In just a few seconds, the ocean can lift up or drop down by several meters over an area as big as a city or even larger. The water above tries to fill the gap, sending waves racing away. Still, the waves in the deep ocean are almost invisible. A boat sailing across might not see or feel much. The waves are very long, remember 100 to 1,000 kilometers apart, but not very tall in deep water. But don't be fooled. The energy in those waves is enormous. As the waves move toward shore, the water gets shallower. The energy has nowhere to go but up. The waves rise and rise. When they finally reach the beach, they can be as tall as a building and carry the strength of a crashing freight train. This kind of tsunami is the most well-known. Throughout history, the biggest and deadliest tsunamis have started with underwater earthquakes, like in 2004 in the Indian Ocean and in 2011 off the coast of Japan, the volcanic tsunami. But there's another way a tsunami can be born, from a giant volcanic explosion. Have you ever watched a volcano erupt on TV? Imagine if that volcano sat under the ocean. Sometimes when a volcano explodes underwater, it can push up the seafloor or even create a new island. The blast tosses huge amounts of rock and ash, as well as water, into the air. All this movement shakes the ocean. And what happens next? The water rushes away in all directions, making giant, fast-moving waves. Some volcanic eruptions are so powerful that you can see the waves from space. The biggest volcanic tsunamis can change the shape of coastlines, rearrange beaches, and flood entire towns in minutes. For example, in 1883, the eruption of Krakatoa in Indonesia caused a tsunami that destroyed many coastal villages. The landslide tsunami. Have you ever built a sandcastle too close to the waves and watched it crumble into the sea? Now imagine that, but much bigger. Sometimes a giant piece of land, maybe a mountain, maybe just a cliff, suddenly breaks loose and falls into the ocean. When it hits the water, it pushes a huge amount of water forward, making waves. This kind of tsunami is usually smaller than earthquake tsunamis, but they can still be very dangerous, especially close to where the land collapses. Sometimes they happen so fast and close to land that people have no time to run. For example, in 1958, a massive landslide in Lituya Bay, Alaska, sent a huge wave over 500 meters high, racing across the bay, uprooting trees and sweeping everything away. Though rare, such megawaves show just how much energy can be released in a short time. Other causes. On extremely rare occasions, even an asteroid or meteorite impact into the sea could generate a massive tsunami. While this is more in the realm of natural history and very unlikely in our lifetimes, it is a reminder of the many forces that shape our planet. Every tsunami has its own beginning, but always something moves the water suddenly, and with incredible force. Do tsunamis only come in one size and shape? Is every tsunami as tall as a building? Or as fast as a plane? Every tsunami is different. Every tsunami is unique. No two are exactly the same. Some are so giant they can travel across an entire ocean and reach another continent. Others are smaller but just as dangerous if you are near where they begin. Let's see how they're different. Traveling tsunamis. Some tsunamis start so big they become ocean crossers. These are the waves that travel across seas and oceans for thousands of kilometers. They start nearly invisible in the deep ocean, but as they travel, their energy stays strong. When they reach shore, even if it's another country, the waves can stand meters tall. These tsunamis are mysterious because they can seem to appear out of nowhere, even if the earthquake or trigger event happened on the other side of the world. For example, the 1960 Chile earthquake created a tsunami that traveled all the way across the Pacific Ocean, reaching Japan and causing deaths and damage there. Local tsunamis. Some tsunamis are called local tsunamis. These waves don't need to cross an ocean to become huge. They start close to shore. A mountain might collapse into the water, or an earthquake right next to the coast shakes things up. The waves arrive so quickly that there might not even be time for a warning. Sometimes the most dangerous waves are the ones that are close to home. The closer the source is to land, the less time there is to react, making local tsunamis especially hazardous for people nearby. Mega tsunamis. And then there's something even more extraordinary, the mega tsunami. Mega tsunamis are extremely rare. They happen when something incredibly massive, like a giant asteroid, crashes into the ocean, or when a huge chunk of a mountain slides into the sea all at once. Mega tsunamis make waves taller than anything else. Imagine water towers as high as skyscrapers, rushing forward at incredible speed. They can change coastlines, move forests, and wash away whole communities. Fortunately, mega tsunamis are very rare, but knowing about them shows just how powerful and unpredictable Earth's processes can be. How do these waves behave? But how do these waves behave as they move? Do they always look the same? Is there always just one big wave? Or does the danger come in waves, one after another? Every tsunami is a series of waves. Every tsunami is not just one wave, it's many waves. sometimes as many as 10, 20, or even more. When most people think of a tsunami, they imagine a single giant wave smashing into the coast. In reality, tsunamis come as a group, a whole train of waves, each one following the last. The first wave is not always the biggest. In fact, sometimes the first wave is small, just a warning of what is coming. Then 5, 10, or even 20 minutes later, a much bigger wave comes crashing in. Each wave can come 5 to 60 minutes apart, meaning that after the first wave, there may be quiet. People might think it's safe and return to the beach, but the most powerful wave could still be on its way, hidden just over the horizon. These waves can keep coming for hours. The ocean pulls back, it pushes forward, back and forth, over and over. So when you hear that a tsunami is coming, always remember, it's not just one wave, but a whole series. Every wave grows taller as it nears land. What happens when a tsunami wave gets closer and closer to shore? In deep water, tsunami waves might look harmless. They could be only a meter high and so stretched out that you might not even notice them. But as the waves approach land, the ocean becomes shallower. The bottom of the wave is slowed down by the sand and rocks, but the top keeps moving fast. What happens next? The wave rises higher and higher until it can be as tall as a house, a building, or even more. It's like squeezing a long rope. All the energy has to go somewhere, so the wave stands up tall and powerful. On the shore, water starts to rush far inland, carrying not just water but cars, boats, trees, and houses with it. When the wave crashes down, it destroys almost everything in its path. But it's not just the water. The power in each wave can pick up heavy objects and toss them far away. Sometimes what looks like a harmless trickle is about to become the strongest flood you can imagine. Is it possible to outrun a tsunami? If you saw a wave coming, could you run fast enough? Every second counts. When a tsunami comes, here's the hero moment. What would you do if you saw the water suddenly rushing away? Leaving the beach dry, every second counts. If you notice the water suddenly pulling away from the shore much farther than normal, it's time to act, and act fast. This drawback is often a warning sign that a tsunami is coming. The time between each wave can be 5 minutes or as long as an hour. Sometimes after the first wave, the ocean seems to become quiet again, and people think it's over. But the strongest wave could still be coming. People who recognize the signs and move quickly to high ground are the real heroes in the story of every tsunami. Sometimes it's just a matter of knowing and making the right choice in those first seconds. Imagine yourself grabbing the hands of your friends or family, heading for hills, tall buildings, or any place higher than the beach. Even just a few meters up can make all the difference. This is why many countries near the ocean have alarms, sirens, and warning messages ready to help people get to safety when every second matters. But what causes the water to pull away before the wave arrives? Why does the ocean act so strangely right before a tsunami hits? Every tsunami begins with a secret signal. The ocean has its own language. Before a tsunami hits, the sea often gives a warning, but only if you know what to look for. The first sign is often called the drawback. Imagine the whole ocean sucking itself backward, pulling water off the beach. Fish are left flopping in the sand, boats tip over. The wet sand appears, sometimes for hundreds of meters where there was just water. Why does this happen? When the earthquake or volcano lifts up a part of the seafloor, it sends energy in both directions, toward the coast and out to open sea. The first wave is sometimes a trough, a dip instead of a crest, a peak. When the trough hits the shore, it pulls water away, going out to sea. Then in a few minutes, the crest of the wave comes in, rushing forward much faster than anyone can run. So if you ever see the water pulling back far and fast, that's not a time to pick up seashells. It's time to move, tell people around you, and climb to higher ground. It might be the single most important signal the ocean ever gives you. But after the tsunami waves arrive, what happens next? Does the danger end right away? Or is there more that every tsunami leaves behind? Every tsunami transforms the land. Every tsunami changes the place it touches. When the wave crashes in, it brings not just water, but everything in its way. Whole trees, cars, pieces of houses, all lifted and swept along by the flood. When the wave pulls back, it takes even more with it, leaving a different world behind. Rivers can change their paths, roads can disappear. Beaches can look completely different. Sometimes even small islands are partially washed away or reshaped. Soil is carried off, leaving scarred land. animals must find new places to live. Plants can be uprooted and moved. In the places hit hardest, people come together to help each other. Friends help friends. Communities rebuild homes. Children go back to school. Shops reopen. Little by little, the world recovers. But the story of every tsunami lives on. Scientists study the waves and look for clues. How high did the water reach? How fast did it move? What signs were there before the wave came? Each new answer helps people prepare for the next tsunami. Even when the land is changed forever, people find ways to live, learn, and protect each other from future waves. Now, you might be wondering, if tsunamis are so powerful, can they be stopped? Can humans ever control something so massive and mysterious? Every tsunami teaches us something new. Every tsunami brings both danger and discovery. Scientists place special sensors in the ocean, far out at sea and close to the coast. These sensors listen for waves, feeling tremors, and help warn people when a tsunami might be coming. Some places have warning sirens or phone alerts that make loud sounds if a dangerous wave is on the way. Other places have signs showing the best way to escape to higher ground. Even children can be heroes by knowing what to do. Run uphill, listen for alarms, go to the highest place you can. Every wave that reaches the shore teaches scientists new things about our oceans and our world. How strong were the waves? How fast did they come? How far did they go? Learning these things helps everyone stay safer. Now you know the secret signals, the different types, and what gives each tsunami its power. But could there ever be something even stronger? Can tsunamis reach every ocean? Is there a wave so big it could change the whole planet? Every tsunami is a reminder that the Earth is alive. Even when you are at school, eating breakfast, or playing with friends, the ground under the sea is moving. The Earth is restless and strong. Sometimes it shows its power in the form of tsunamis. Incredible, powerful, mysterious waves. Remember, every tsunami has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. But even when the water is calm again, the story goes on, because every person who is ready, every scientist who learns, and every community that helps each other is a hero in every wave. So next time you visit the beach or look at the ocean, remember the secret world beneath the water. The moving ground, the enormous waves, the signals and stories hidden in every changing tide. Will you be the hero when the next wave comes? Will you know what to do? Because on our planet, every day brings a new story, and every tsunami reminds us the world is always moving, and there is always more to learn. If you want to discover even more mysteries and wonders about the world beneath the waves, stay curious, and always keep a watchful eye on the horizon.